kifo ya Ian, siwezi hata explain, sababu ni uchungu kabisa.
Hata hiyo time alikuwa na pass, at least alijua kuna watu wanamjua wako naye.
I ask myself where you left Bono ulienda.
The guy died empty.
Angekuja hapo job hajavaa socks. Namwambia mbona hujavaa socks? Nasema mimi siwezi vaa socks. Socks ni kazi gani?
Hako anatoa mask. Mimi mpaka nilifunza kukaa na mask, mazema ngao ajikula na lala.
Actually, readjusting into life without him hasn't been easy.
On the 4th of October, the year 2020, my family lost a son, grandson, brother, and friend. This is his story. Ian James Muhia Wambui was the firstborn in a family of 5.
He was a quiet child. Hakuwa mtoto wa mambo mengi.
Ian alikuwa mjukuu wangu na nilimpenda sana.
Ian is my nephew, but nilimjua kama my son. Nilikuwa namuita my firstborn. Tuliishi na yeye, so namjua kama my son.
Ian was my very first grandson in the family, in the Moshes family, and we were very proud of him. He made me to be the first shosho.
He was a hero to all of us. He was generous, innovative, and an amazing friend to everyone.
Tukicheza bano na yeye, kakiwa kadogo tunaenda Egerton tunacheza ball na yeye. Ile chobo na huwa pia tulikuwa tunacheza na yeye. Toa alikuwa Egerton, mimi nilikuwa Kilimo, but tulikuwa tu ma home neighbors.
Ian was born on the month of April in the year 1996.
Wakati alizaliwa na mama yake, nilimchukua akiwa na miezi 8 wakati mama yake alirudi shule.
At the time, he was the only son to Joyce Wambui.
Alikuwa anajenga tu vitu. Angeona mahali pako pabaya aje. Alikuwa tu neat.
Ian was this quiet boy and very cheeky. I remember he used to have his own pranks, but he used to be very careful too.
I saw a lot of potential in that young boy, because as young as 10 years, he would make shoes. And I saw an industrious man, a person who was willing to do things in his own way. And there is so much I knew possibly toward his adulthood he would do.
Mrs. Jacinta Mohoro, Ian's first aunt, was so fond of Ian.
Nilikuwa naweza kushare naye mambo personal, you know. Ni mdogo but unaongea naye na kuadvise. Alikuwa anataka kusema itakuwa sawa, usijali hivyo.
Ian had a second father, Mr. Peter Mohoro.
I knew him at a very tender age, and I believed him when he was a child and during his youth.
Mr. Peter Mohoro was more than a father figure to Ian.
When we were trying to do things with him, sometimes he would get agitated, he would get worked up, but as time went by, he came to understand me very well, and we blended vizuri sana.
Right after nursery school, it was here at Egerton Primary School that Ian got his primary education.
Ian amekuwa akisoma vizuri na hajakuwa na utundu. Amekuwa tu mtoto mwenye anasikia na mtoto yani sijui alikuwa tofauti sana.
Ian was a very bright student, bright enough that he got a spot at Kilimo High School, one of the best schools in Nakuru County.
Ian was this kind of guy who used to be clean and tidy every day, every time. So for me, I knew somebody who was clean, responsible, hardworking.
Tunaweza kumbuka there's a time tukitoka shule tulipatana na maboi kwa barabara na wakanihanda sana, walikuwa wamesimama almost na home, and Ian alitokea akanidefend sana na au maboi wakapave tukapita.
Tukimaliza high school alikuwa anapenda kucheza bake sana, alafu ni wale wasenye walikuwa wanapenda kukua mababi hivi. Short anaweza vaa kama amesagi kidogo, alafu anapenda zile maviatu za hizi Jordans.
Ian was a romantic fella.
Kuna time rafiki yake, that is rafiki yake Shiro girlfriend, kuna wakati tumewaifanya birthday hapa.
We were heading for our 3rd anniversary. Kwa Feb, anniversary ni June. So hakuwa around, alikuwa ameenda Mombasa to see the mom, so he wasn't there for my birthday, but nilikuwa tu hapo kwa Muhoro bado. I think I was on long holiday and I didn't do anything. So he came back a week later. Hiyo story ilikuwa ishaisha because on that day on my birthday he had sent me a message, so hiyo story ilikuwa imeisha hivyo. Then when he came back in the morning tukiingia naye job, you could tell there was something but singewahi suspect. Ni birthday, there kulikuwa na snacks na vitu zimefichwa kumepangwa. So I thought ilikuwa birthday ya mtu because usually kukiwa na birthday ya mtu hapo job mnge celebrate pamoja, you know. So all of a sudden Ian akaeka some romantic songs
and akaifanya so special juu alimwekea wimbo nini, akakuja akamwod vizuri, you know, it was so nice that makaanga tu nikikumbuka sana.
Took out a birthday cake, ilikuwa Black Forest, which is my favorite, and then went and sang and went on his knee.
He had his way with words
and said, I love you so much, Laura. You mean more to me than anything and I love you.
Okay, before nijue Shiro is Ian girlfriend, kuna kitu lihapeningi. Ulikuwa nganoni. So, Shiro alikuwa Nairobi, alikuwa shule, akakujanga huko, akatusalimia. Then Ian akasikia Shiro huko, akatoka Noni akakuja huko. Then Moaz nikamwambia Moaz. So mbio watu Noni wakae Noni, watu Aroni wakae Roni. Then Ian akasema Fred sikwange sini mabeshte.
Ian James Muhia Wambui had plenty of friends whose lives he had made an impact upon.
Nakumbuka kuna time tulikuwa na issue na demu yangu. Demu nikamfuata, alienda kwa Ian na akamwambia sijui Nyata amenijamia nini, hebu bonga na Nyata. Sasa Ian ako hapo ananiangalia, "Anko, nini happen nini bla bla. Usiache demu nini, nyi solve issues zenyu." Na tukasolve.
Whenever I'd come to work, he'd be the first person to tell me, "Oh wow, you look good today." He'd hug me and tell me, "I just have to give you this hug so that you can start this day well."
Na hata alikuwa anakatazwa na mama kununua smoki za barabara, lakini alikuwa ananinunulia tu kila wakati. Hata hakuwa na shida. Na atanunua hapa, alafu tuseme tumepanda matatu kwenda home, akipata zingine atanunua.
He was such a person that once you meet him, by the next minute you feel like you've known him for ages. And that's how he quickly was able to bond with my family, with my kids and also me.
Na hata akiwa mdogo, like alikuwa ni msichana respect kila mtu, no matter the age.
Alikuwa na reference yenye alikuwa anapenda, Vini kuna kakedo hapa. Hiyo ni wakati kuna kakitu anaambia Vini, so unakuta labda they were eating something, anakuambia Vini kuna kakedo hapa, then anakupa. Umejua kuna ile openness ya mtu amekufungulia roho yake, kuna kakitu anakupea. Hiyo
smile yake
hata kama uko down bado tu itakumotivate, you will come back up.
He was always there whenever any of his friends needed him.
So nilikuwa nakuja tunakaa na Ian pale kwake, nakaa hapo kwa kiti. Nashinda tu naye tukipiga story. He used to encourage me a lot, ananiambia usijali, mambo itakuwa poa. Matime saa zingine nakosa hadi fare ya kwenda mtaa. Yeye tu ndiye ananiokolea na nigonga choni, ananiambia usijali, kesho itakuwa poa.
It was on my birthday. I don't remember, I think last year but one. So I was at home. No one was psyched up for my day. I even myself had in car was like. And then in the evening I was cooking supper, and then night we in the living room, and I found him there with a cake. He had bought me a cake on my birthday even after my mom had tupilia story mbali. So it made me feel very special, and yes, I really appreciate that.
Ikakuwa one time bike yangu haikuwa. Msee alikuwa anafanya deliveries pia kukua. So nimeamka nimepika mahamri na yanapaa nipeleke tao. Nikawa Ian ako. Sasa nikimbia kwa Ian. Nikapata Ian amedoza. Akaamka nikamwambia bro ni aje. Hata jaibongeshana. Hata kuongeleshana ile sala tujawahi. Bro ni aje. Manze niko kwa mess kiasi. Nilikuwa naomba bike unisave nifikishe deliveries alafu ndakurudishia before saa 5. Anambia sawa basi shika ufunguo. Wewe mwana mjuani. Shika ufunguo. Na iko na gede, nikamwambia akaniambia gede iko nayo. Nikamwambia ni boost, osi mind wewe peleka tu rudi.
He's the one who broke to me the news that I'm graduating. Yeah, and he did it in a very special way. Nilimpatia tu simu, ana scroll, ananiambia, msee ulikuwa shule kweli, ulikula school fees ya mzee. So he scrolls, then finally he enlarged it, aka screenshot, alafu akaniambia here is your name, you're graduating. Then he threw me a small party. Yeah, that evening before I went home. After the graduation, I came back, I got a job at Gilani's. Then there was like a major event, a major party.
Ian always brought joy whenever there was sadness.
Motivate most of the time when I'm low, he'd just make fun of me. He'd help, but he would make fun of me.
I remember there's a day he came visiting on his motorbike. So I was kind of, are these the power guys or who? Here comes Ian. Ian, is this your ride or what? Yeah, sure. He came with some shopping. He told me, sure, can you bless me? And I blessed him. We prayed. I blessed him and I told him, be careful, because on the roads we have so many lunatics. And I remember telling him, keep warm when you're riding these things, be warm.
All his friends knew him as always the cheerful one.
Kama sikuwa na shughuli tao kwa Ian, ama kata niko na shughuli na nasikia nafaa kutulia ama kubreathe kwa Ian. Like company ole says one thing that sasa nikikaa hivi like sana kuja nini akina Rich wako busy, nikikuja Saironi na Ian tu ningekuwa Ian anytime.
Ian na mistu hizo jokes zake ndio vile alikuwa anakuja ngapi hivi anacheka na mimi, and that sense of life alikuwa mse mwingine lively sana.
Ian tulikuwa tunaendanga naye bash. Ian whenever things will go wrong, ndio alikuwa time sana ni beba and all that.
Ian could have been a raha. As in, he was always happy. Sherehe tukarusha bash. Sababu sasa mimi naye sina do. Nikafanyaje bro? Fanyaje? Leo bro ameingia kutoka kwa single kwa one bedroom. Hiyo ni achievement. Tukarusha bash. Haiko bash ati watu wengi, watu wawili tu. Mzinga moja ilituzima. Poof. I remember that night tulicall Laura, tukacall demi yangu, tukaongea, tukamerge calls, tukaongea.
Ronnie Stationers is where Ian worked.
I work with Ronnie Stationers. I've been with Ronnie for quite some years, and yeah, I love the place. It was so enjoyable working with Ian. Kwa hiyo muda yenye tumewaka naye, and I think he's among the best that I have ever worked with, because Ian he never gave me headache, He never bothered me. We were so free with each other. And, you know, he also loved what he used to do. He loved his work. And he was so much dedicated to what he was doing.
The first time I saw Ian was at Ronnie Stationers. Him and I, we were sharing the same desk. Ikafika point, hata si point, we were already at that point already whereby we are speaking telepathically. Kuna kitu atafanya na naona kwa desk hapo next to him is just him, a printer, then me. Kuna kitu anafanya naona na naona inamlemea. I'll just tell him finya hapo na hapo. Hata si type point. Finya task fulani itakuletea hivi na hivi. Atafinya na itawaka. Pia mimi kuna zenye nilikuwa nafanya on my end. Anaona ndio na struggle, so he won't let me mess up. Ataniambia finya hapo na hapo. But mwenye na serve, he won't know how him and I are communicating.
I have to say, Ian transitioned a lot over those 5 years. Comparing him now and then is a very big difference. He changed in so many ways. Talking about the small things like, alikuwa nakuja, tulikuwa tumeanza kudate, but angekuja hapo job hajavaa socks. Namwambia mbona hujavaa socks? Nasema mimi siwezi vaa socks. Socks ni ya kazi gani? And now he had like over 40 pairs literally of socks. And ama akuje na kakoti kameraruka hapa ameka duct tape, you know. And I'm like, what? Azitoa hii kitu, jacket ni black, iko na sijui duct tape ya green, umeka binding tape ya blue. Anasema ni our baba, you know, the way he used to talk. So, you know, things like that. And then now he's wearing smart casual, you know, those small things. And back then he used to be, as in, he's always been a funny guy, you know, that captures you, you know. Even when you think about someone, when you grow old, you think about what will remain, you know. Uso zita fade, pesa huisha, but someone who will make you laugh during those moments, that never goes out.
He was very fresh when he came to town, and I used to train him. So I do graphic design, that is one. Despite right now at my background as in junior, I used to do graphic design. And Ian was one of my students who I brought up, a person who I did not have an issue with, argument, and also a very close friend to me and my family, because I can remember when I was doing my wedding, he was there for me. He was like the person who used to be sent by Mr. Mohoro here and there, atupeleke mizigo zetu nyumbani, atupeleke kwenye tulikuwa we spend our night for the first time. So he was a good brother.
He's the one who mentored me in the field of computer and stuff. He was a good friend. He was very friendly and very welcoming. Yeah, you'd never feel out of place whenever you're around him.
Ian loved photography.
I think it was in either 2016 or 2017 there. We decided, me and the Mohoros, we decided to go to the park just to have fun with the kids and the family. And Ian came along with his camera. Before, I didn't know he was good in shooting, but the kind of pictures that he took while we were there, they were above what I thought. If I compare with other pictures that I've taken elsewhere with other photographers, maybe for a birthday or something, he was above the cut.
We used to shoot together, so he even pushed me to realize that I would love to be a model in the future. That was one of my best memories since tulifanya hizo shoots mara kadhaa.
After he got his first camera, he dedicated part of his life to art.
He had that age and that feel that you would see the passion in him. He was not just doing it for fun. That was part of him. And then from there, during that time, they had a lot of conversation with my daughter, and he was quite inspiration to her, because he gave out some words to her, an encouragement that even boosted her performance when she was doing her fourth form.
Creating art, capturing the moment. That was his thing through and throughout. He liked photography sana. Angekuchukua picha. Added those two little blemishes you had. He would cleanse them. You look like a model, that model.
Ian, Shusha nasemanga Ian ni ka mechanic. So in a way, what I know is Ian loved building things. Ian Keton. He had every tool he needed. Hange wife. Every time we thought of getting a sofa. Actually, the chair you found, I think that was the third. Alikuwa amejenganga kwanza L, baadaye akazieka 2 separate. Now it was 1. So he was always trying to make new things. And I remember juzi we were talking and he was saying that angetaka we save so we can buy all the tools that he needs. He was talking about a power saw, a power drill, all this stuff, so that we don't have to buy. And for a lady or for a girl, you can be skeptical because unaogopa.
Here are examples of amazing and unforgettable photos taken by Ian himself. What happened to Ian? Ian was on his way to Nakuru town from his place on the morning of 4th October, the year 2020.
I was still in the house. In fact, bado sikuwa nimetoka kwa bed when I received that call from a colleague we also used to work with. Alinipigia akaniambia hebu kuja hapa Nakuru, yana amepata accident. So siku state, I walked out to the scene, but unfortunately sikumpata kwa scene, alikuwa shapelekwa, but nilipata bike ilikuwa imeanguka kwa hiyo mtaro drainage.
Hiyo siku nilipigiwa simu na Shiro. Na yeye Shiro alikuwa amepigiwa with another friend, Mwasia. Akaniambia, "Jess, umesikia about Ian?" Nikamuuliza nini? Ian amepata accident. Nikamuuliza wapi? Akaniambia amesikia amepata accident. Hata hajui ako wapi.
I was going to church, but the minute I got to the compound, that is when I got the second call that he had been taken to hospital. Then I realized, are you talking about Ian? Yes, it is Ian himself who has been involved in an accident. So I rushed to hospital.
I am standing at the exact same spot where Ian had his accident.
A car was coming from this direction, from Kungste roundabout, coming up to what we call White House. And here is the gate, Nakuru High School. And we are told, because I wasn't there, that the driver of the small car made a decision to U-turn at that particular point. And while Ian was coming, like the way you can see this motorbike coming down, and then they met at the point of turning. And you can see where we are standing is exactly the spot where Ian could no longer now sustain the balance with his motorbike. And he hit the side mirror of that car around that area and eventually fell on this particular ditch. And actually you can see even the marks that the motorbike made. And everywhere is concrete. And I think he must have hit this wall with some speed. And that is why he actually sustained injuries that eventually led to his death. So otherwise, as you can see, it was on a Sunday morning. There were not as much traffic as you can see now. There were only some few vehicles passing around here. And as I've told you, That is what the eyewitness made us understand.
Mwenye gari yenye ilikuwa imemgonga nilimpata kwa scene, and pia unfortunately nikapata also somebody that I know. She was a lady and she happened to be our client. She was also shocked to know that the person that she had knocked down was a friend to me, and he was also a colleague. So she was so much shocked.
We were all in the house. We had Diana's was involved in an accident.
And I went straight to the ward where I met him on a drip, and I could hear him suffer so much.
Sasa kufika hospitali ndio tulipata Ian ako kwa bed. Alikuwa in a lot of pain. Hata sikuweza kukaa sana na yeye. Nilifukuzwa huko, but eventually nilijipatia nguvu. Nikarudi nikamshikilia mguu.
Sasa mi kwenda ward 5. Kufika tu kwa mlango nikaona Mohoro anaongea na simu pale ndani ya ward na Mudhonia amekaa chini. Vile tu nilikaribia nikaona Ian amelala kwa bed.
machines zimekataa kufanya kazi, and I just broke. I just knew he wasn't there.
Yeah. But kitu nafurahia ni hata hiyo time alikuwa na pass, at least alijua kuna watu wanamjua wako naye.
I was just around, Mr. Moro kanipigia simu tena ati it was so sad kupata it was so sad. I'm sorry for that. Then kawa tu imehappen hivyo.
It was indeed a sad day to the Muhia family. Their very first grandson, who had made an impact on people's lives, was no more. Words of condolences filled the social media, and for a moment, it all felt so unreal that the one person who was beyond perfect was gone. Ian's passing was a tough pill to swallow.
The first message nilifungua, it was like, by the way, umesikia Ian alipass. Haikunihit iko like ni Ian Muhia. I was like, Ian mgani? Juu najua Ian wengi, so Ian mgani? Ian wengi na walikuja mind the other Ians, but not Muhia.
Mara ya kwanza hata sikuwa na feel anything, nilikuwa tu confused juu haikai real hivyo. Saa later nikaanza kuelewa.
I found myself added to a group. So I saw the group was Ian Muhia. So I was like, at first I thought it was Ian who had sent me a message. So I opened up the message and so it's a group that I've been added. I was like, oh, kwani Ian has finally decided to or something like that. That's why he's adding me there. So I was like, let me wait. And then a minute later, a message popped up. I opened up, anxiously waiting to see the day. And then I saw rest in peace. I tried calling his number. It was off. So the next thing that I did, because I saw now that's the time I went to the group discussion and started checking what was going on. And then I found out that Mwasia is the one who had added me to the group. So I called Mwasia, and then Mwasia was like, yeah, Ian ametuacha, he got an accident, motorbike. I only heard of that part of he got an accident at motorbike. The rest, sikuskia. So I switched off, was unable to come to terms to it. I was totally unable to call Mohoro to get a confirmation. It caught me. I say, I thank God I was able to cry, because I think that first cry that I did gave me the realization that it's the truth and I just have to face it.
I ask myself where you left, but I know you fought your way through your injuries. Zikakusaka. I wish ingekuwa hapo. I wish ingekuwa hapo nikuone, but nilishindwa kukuja kukuona. Nilishindwa kuja kukuona, but najua ulikuwa unajua nashindwa.
A few days after Ian's tragic accident, Ian's friends and family organized a candle lighting event at Ian's place of work.
When you leave this physical dimension, sometimes I wish somebody would come back and see how much impact they made in people's lives. Kwanza candle lighting ya Ian, leave alone the burial. Candle lighting ya Ian, nilikuwa nasikia tu vile wasao wanaongea, then I was like, okay man, Ian was really something.
On that night, it was evident how candid and influential Ian was.
The preparation, people came up that showing that Ian was good-hearted to people, young and old, so people were there for support. Despite it is a painful support, but people walijitokeza. So we had the candle lighting, which young people turn up in a good way. That's showing how much they valued Ian, and it is a person that they have lost, and they made it rememberable that after ametuacha, we loved you, Ian.
His friends and colleagues described him as an amiable person, adventurous, a kind person whose motive was always to make everyone happy. On the day after the candle lighting event, Ian was buried in the home where he grew up in, Njoro, Njokerio.
Alafu ikafika time ya body viewing. I remember a friend of mine anaitwa Alexi. Alikuwa anaenda kuview body. I think alikuwa weak sana, hakuamini ni msee mwenye amepass, msee mwenye anajua amepass. Alianguka chini, so I had to help her. Asionekane isikue an embarrassment. Sasa I had to stay strong, but sasa time niliona Ian, mazee hata hakuwa anakaa, body ilikuwa imechange, ilikuwa anakaa different.
When we were there, at their working place, they had put my number that we are out because of ABCD, and they have put the picture of Ian. But I used to be called even when we are in the function of the burial. Ati hello, yes, tumekuja tukakuta mumefunga na kuna poster iko hapa. What happened to Ian? Namwambia ABCD. Mazishi ni lini? Ni leo. And people wananiambia mko wapi, kwacha tukuje. So that show Ian alikuwa ameingiana na watu.
Burial ya Ian, it was flogged mpaka tukakosa space ya mass, kuingia kwa mass. Tulikosa space, wengine tukakaa nje. Kukuja hapa, this whole area was flogged. Tulikaa pale hivyo nyuma. Tulikuwa pale hivyo nyuma, then like yani it was amazing the impact Ian had on people's lives. Wase walikuja kusaidia kuchimba yake pale. Mimi mwenyewe nilisemanga nitakuja, lakini kukuja pia nikakosa chance ya kuingia pale because watu walikuwa like we really want to do this for Ian. Yeah. So unajua hiyo tayari tells you what type of person Ian was.
Hundreds gathered to bid this young man goodbye. Roses were planted on his grave as a sign of how much they care about him, and he will never be forgotten.
Sasa Ian na kile unajua tulikuwa tumezoea akitutengenezea vitu, specs zikivunjika ni yeye tu, kitu kiharibika ni yeye. Sasa hii juu yako hata mtu anakuwa tu confused, unakaa na vitu zako.
So my life has been quite hard without him around. Cause sina mzee yote wa kushare anything with, mzee mwenye like anaweza kuwa mtrue. Mabeshte siku hizi sikuwa true at all. Unaweza share something upate mzee ameshapeleka huko nje. But Ian was the only person mwenye ningeongelesha.
Hiyo death ya kifo ya Ian siwezi hata explain, sababu ni uchungu kabisa. Sababu wakati my husband alikufa, hiyo kifo tu ni kama ilienda tu the same. Hiyo uchungu, hiyo kifo imekata ile raha maybe mtu alikuwa nayo. Ndio wakati mwingi mimi nikiomba, huwa naombea watoto wangu wote, na wataja mpaka majina, na wenye wako na kama Joyce yako na bwana yake, Anthony yako na bwana yake, na wataja na majina.
The guy died empty. Kama ametoa Kenya alikuwa kutoa. Hakuna kitu alienda na wenye kwa ametoa.
Unajaribu kusahau, but unaona tu yani yuko around. Unaona hai mwezi imeisha, but inakaa kama tu jana, iko fresh. Ukikumbuka vile alikuwa na akiwa hosi, but hata hiyo tu kumwona hospitali ilifanya nione maybe angeishi, angekuwa in a lot of, maybe angejidharau. Alikuwa mtu very hardworking. Hakuwa anataka kufanyiwa kitu. Hata hakuwa anataka kuona watu wakini maybe ati kitu inani stress. Hakuwa anapenda hivyo. Alikuwa na hata hakuwa anataka kuona kitu inasumbua Muhoro. Angeenda mu advice, you know. So mimi ukumbuka hizo. Sengine unataka kushare kitu, unakumbuka Ian. Unataka kupiga simu, unaona ndio unakumbuka. Ukilala unaona hizo pictures zake but najua with time, maybe najua with time tutaenda tutukinini. Tukikubali.
It feels like my life has been flipped, you know, like upside down, because you know, I don't think kuna mtu ashaingia kwa relationship akingojea siku itaisha. So you always, whether eventually you end up breaking up or something, always in mind you have the idea of a lifetime together or a future together. So even though we didn't know what the future held, we knew we'd always be together. You know, at times we used to have questions like, we started out so young, 19, so kuna maybe phase watu wameruka ya experiment and then tell ourselves tutakuwa poa. Akukosangi a few people who did the same and they worked out. So we knew whatever happened, we'd still be together, you know. We'd grow gray and old and all that. And just all of a sudden, you just have no idea of what will happen. Every time I want him to call me, to text, to hold me, things like that, and I just, CJ, it feels unreal, and for some reason I'm just waiting, and most times I'm just questioning ako wapi, you know. It's just not knowing where he is yeah.
nimeendelea tu na life, lakini bado ni ngumu kuaccept ameenda. Sasa nasikia bado haijaingia kwa akili yangu that ameenda. Sioni kama ametocha, bado naona tu hata saa zingine najistukia nikilala tu na fikiria Ian.
Life imekuwa so sad, atuamini hiyo kipengele, hiyo nafasi yake atuamini bado hayuko, kwa sababu tulikuwa tumezoea kuwa na yeye kila wakati. Alikuwa anapenda watu nini. So hatujaamini bado ati hayuko nasi tena.
So for that 1 week after tumezika Ian, nilikuwa naamka tu kila asubuhi ama nikienda jioni kulala. Inasema kweli life ni very short.
Sauti yote ya piki kipita nadhani ni Ian. Sometimes nataka kucall Laura tuongee, but nashindwa namwambia nini. I remember tulikuwa tunaenda kuchukua vitu kutoka kwake. Ndio zi transfer at least how he release. Mi yangu ilikuwa hard because bila tulikuwa tumeacha vitu, koti, mavini, yani vile tulikuwa tumeacha kila kitu. Ilikuwa hivyo. Niga, yani haoni kama alikuwa ametoka jana. So ijakuwa easy, as in, I'm trying to relieve ile steps aliniachia.
It is confusing because sometimes I end up calling, and sometimes I take my call. I want to consult something Muhia. Muhia don't pick my call first. I met myself dialing the number of Ian. All of a sudden when I start calling, nikisikia mteja voicemail, I remember, okay, Ian is no longer with us.
Up to now, I still have this funny feeling. Maybe it wasn't him. Because even during the burial day, even though I saw him and paid my last respect, I was looking at it and seeing like he's just there taking a nap. So to me, his soul is still with us. He left such a big mark in me that I can only say he's resting, he's not gone.
You know, maybe I'm a friend of Rooney Saiba, and every moment nikikuja huku na nikose kuona Ian, I miss him dearly. And every time I'm going home, my direction ni mahali alipata accident. So every time ninafika hapo, I remember him. Nikipitia tu hiyo barabara lazima nimkumbuke, but I thank God because he's in a better place.
Yeah, and accept that things happen for a reason. That is the only way. Ni ku-accept.
Unaona kama hujaamini bado, even kuheal sometime ina take time. Like juzi ndo ni try kufuta pick kiasi nilikuwa nazo zilikuwa most, na pia nikaona tu nifute contact, but unapata kwa group ya shule ya WhatsApp unaona bado namba yake iko hapo, so unaona kama bado ni mtu ako tu na sisi.
Sikuwagi nimekubali kwa sababu naona sinakwambia hata yani juzi tu sinakwambia nimepita hapo na piki na imagine hii mtaro kidogo. Mi imagination yangu hiyo piki mimi ninge lazimisha hiyo niendeshe piki kwa mtaro. Hiyo ndo hesabu yangu, ati kama imekuwa mbaya hiyo piki mimi ndio iendesha kwa mtaro. Umeona? But mpaka tuseme chenye mimi nimebaki nayo is to appreciate him.
Life has not been the same again. On my side, it has really changed a lot. Because of the way we used to relate with Ian, the way we used to work together, so much has changed.
I always pray that Ian kama ananisikiza, just by accidentally nipata tu na yeye tu hivi, hata asiniongeleshe, nimuone tu mara ya mwisho. That's all I can always ask God to grant me that wish. Hata kama siku niongeleshe na naye tu mara moja hivi anapotea. I always pray that, and that I'll be satisfied.
Watu walikuwa najua kuna mtu anakujanga kuona Njoki na pikipiki inapiganga kelele huko, and sometimes I really wish ingekuwa. And also here at work I think nime notice a very big gap with him not being around.
Like to date, I always come here, naangalia place alikuwa na park bike, it's not there. So nasikia tu roho imesink kidogo, but then you have to move on.
Like we just have to keep the memories we shared, the moments we had. That's all we have of him. Life is not easy. I miss that person whom you'd go and talk to that easily, someone who'd teach you to do something. Just seeing him around, playing, too much of playing, you see, yeah, you just miss that a lot.
Ian penye uko, I hope uko sawa. And another thing, this time I hope uko na fare. Uko na fare, mimi niko na fare. Venye tu ulikuwa unaniuliza kama niko na fare, niko na fare. Wewe uko na fare? Kama una fare nitakulipia. Riding power. Najua Mimo alikujoin pia ilini hit. You are best buddies. Please mshikilie mkono, guide her. You went before her. Enda naye vipoa, guide uko. Mimi nitakuwa sawa. I'll be fine.
When I was looking at him, I was seeing my brother James. With his smile, the way he loved being in the kitchen, being in the garden. He was an all-rounded person. So I was thinking, what if God gave him more years to live? But then who are we? We don't have to question God.
It was such a painful experience. I have not been into such a situation ever before in my life history. I have seen so many people who have died, even so close to me, but I have never been hit hard the way the death of Ian James actually did hit me.
Like hakuna siku yenye imepita bila Ian kuklik kwa akili yangu. Iwe asubuhi iwe jioni, like haijakuwa easy.
Ian, I really miss you. And I wish you're happy where you are. I've dreamt of you, and I've dreamt of you telling me, niache kustress. You're at a better place, which I believe you're in heaven. Man, I know you're watching over us. Thank you so much, man. Ulikuwa bazoo. You're more than a legend, man. But I really miss you. And I wish we had spoken before these things happened. But it's okay. Things do happen in life.
Nilikuwa nampenda. Naomba mahali yako akae vizuri. Alafu kama tu mtu angekuwa anaweza rudi hai, ningewish tu angerudi.
So this right here is where we buried Ian. Ian was our hero, will always be our hero. Do I miss him? Yes, I do very much. Do I still wish he was here? Absolutely. But I'm contented with the fact that I know he's in a good place and that one day, sooner or later, we shall all see him again, we shall all celebrate, and we shall all see Ian smile again. Thank you for watching. This has been Life Without Ian.